The Red Sox found a way to stay alive. They knocked out the Tampa Bay Rays 3 games to 1. They're now facing the Houston Astros in the ALCS. And here to talk about that is Lauren Campbell from the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Lauren, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad that we can keep talking Red Sox.
Yes, they keep winning, so we keep having these segments. We love it. So let's talk about that series with Tampa. The bats came alive, and the pitching was just good enough for them to get to the next round.
It was, and that's what they needed. I mean, the pitching was good enough, and then it was the offense that just kind of carried them the rest of the way. And this is what they needed. The Tampa team is very, very tough. You never know what you're going to get from them. And the Red Sox came back and won 3 in a row, which is very difficult to do, especially against a 100-win team.
And they, of course, like they have all season, had a flair for the dramatics, getting a couple walk-off wins at Fenway. What does that kind of win in the playoffs do for a team?
It brings them so much momentum and it brings them so much energy. And especially that when you end a series on a walk-off, you're going to carry that into the next series, regardless of when the last game from the previous series was. So they have a ton of momentum riding in their favor. And it's so good. I don't think anything feels better than walking off a series as an underdog in front of your home crowd and just taking in that moment and just kind of reeling in all those good vibes and the good energy.
All right, we got to stop living in the past. We got to look forward here to the series with the Astros, a team they've played a couple times in the postseason recently. What can you tell us about Houston?
They're a tough team, and the Red Sox really struggled against them in the regular season, but regular season stats don't matter. The Red Sox know what they're up against. The Astros know what they're up against, and it's going to be a really hard-fought, fun series. I don't think this is going to be easy for either team, and it's a best of 7 now, so there's more games to be played, and there's no denying that Houston is a force. They're incredible. Their lineup is so deep, and their lineup is scary. It's not their pitching I'm worried about. It's their offense. You look at that lineup, and you keep going down, and you're like, how is Jose Altuve probably the 5th best hitter in this lineup when he's one of their best hitters? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be intense, and there's probably going to be a lot of dramatics.
And the slugfest looks like it's going to be underway here on Friday. To counter that, Red Sox have announced their starting rotation. It'll be Chris Sale in Game 1, Nate Eovaldi in Game 2. What do you think about that decision?
I was shocked. I was expecting Evaldi for game 1 and maybe Sale for game 2. But at some point, I mean, Cora said it best. Chris Sale has to pitch at some point in this series. And he did say Wednesday night that Chris Sale was going to play an important role in the series. I don't think anyone interpreted that as a game 1 starter. But here we are. He's going to start game 1. And eventually, he has to build his confidence back up. Chris Sale has struggled throughout his career in the postseason. And especially this season, he struggled against the Rays in game 2, coming off the Tommy John surgery. This is setting him up for a really good opportunity to get that confidence back and throw some solid innings against a really good Astros team.
And Nick Pivetta, what do you expect out of him? Do you think he'll still be in that reliever role, or do you think maybe he'll get a start in Game 3 or 4 at Fenway?
I really think it depends how games 1 and 2 go. I think they would want to start him, and I think they'll try to preserve him. But Alex Cora also said they'll be aggressive out of the bullpen. So who knows if we might see Pivetta in games 1 and 2 out of the bullpen.
Hey, possibilities are endless. For the Red Sox hitters, Kike Hernandez had a especially good series. Is there anyone else you're expecting to kind of step it up against the Astros?
Obviously, I want Hernandez to keep that momentum going. I think Hunter Renfroe is due for some big hits. And JD Martinez, I know that he's been, he kind of cooled down toward the end of the season. And for him to really get that back going, and I know he's dealing with an ankle injury right now, but JD Martinez is due for something very, very big.
So with all that being said, do you think the Red Sox are going to keep playing in October, or the Astros going to get back to the World Series?
The Red Sox fan and optimist in me wants to say the Red Sox, but I do think ultimately that this will be the Astros in 6.
Astros in 6. All right. Lauren Campbell from the Locked On Red Sox podcast. You can listen to that, of course, anywhere you get your podcasts.